welcome to ANIPOD, aka Crossroads. This is a Talkback episode, everybody. Where we're just gonna talk about.
This is a Talkback episode, everybody.
It's a Talkback episode, everybody.
It's a Talkback episode, everybody.
Everybody.
I am Dono, the DM, and these are my lovely players. Say hi, lovely players.
Hello, lovely. Hi, lovely players.
You're supposed to say it after I'm done, okay?
Hi, Dadley.
Oh, hi, Debbie.
Hi.
You didn't answer the phone.
I know. It's really good. Wait, did you actually try to call me?
Yes.
I
Holy
physically
shit, you
called your
actually
cell phone.
did.
I physically
Usually
called your cell
did.
phone. I was
Oh my
genuine.
God.
Twice.
I was genuine gonna be so mad if you answered stealthy and not me.
I was like, well, it says that he's playing War Thunder. Let me try him on Discord.
So, okay, so I was awake for a very solid amount of time. And I only just woke up, like, not even 10 minutes ago, maybe, to the sound of ringtones, more specifically my Discord ringtone, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? I look and I see a Zoom link posted in the Discord, and I'm like, oh, are we playing today? And not realizing that auto-joining a Zoom with camera on and audio off is not exactly the best situation to be in when I've just woken up.
It's like a baby koala.
So, ladies, if you're wondering, this is what Dippy looks like when he just wakes up. Immaculate.
Yeah, my right eye is swollen almost completely shut.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one that wakes up with that.
The goddamn time, man.
Do we have any sponsor? Don, are you gonna play music or anything we need
Oh
to shout
yeah,
out?
we should probably do that. Fuck, man. I
Definitely the
think...
vibe for a Talkback episode today.
What kind of
We're here. We're
what
alive.
music should I
Yes.
play?
So
Are
yeah,
we?
this whole episode is just we're gonna be talking about the campaign. Kind of, I'm assuming from the beginning. I don't remember the last time we did a Talkback episode.
we can
and
talk
I
about
don't-
just like
For
everything,
Crossroads?
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a talk
I
I
don't
guess this
even
is more
know.
of a summation, and I won't answer questions. We'll answer each other's questions and
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely
go from there.
I don't know. I love doing these vibes because everyone I stream with and I get to play these games with are so creative and brilliant. And every single time something happens at the table, I'm like, I want to know what's going on inside your head. I want to be your earworm. I want to figure that out.
Someone and wonder.
What is going on inside their head?
Zooms in and it's just like.
Yeah, that's it. The first question of the episode. What's going on inside your head right now? Describe it.
There's still a buzz of like sleepy dippy, like trying that is trying to go.
My
away.
boyfriend's awesome for bringing me food.
I am.
Potatoes.
I'm gonna die alone.
Ooh, let's do
Oh my
Cyberpunk Bar.
god!
Dippy,
No, you won't.
Dippy. No, I won't. I will
You
not.
have your kids.
I have my dog. Oh yeah, and my children.
And my kids.
Donald, Photoshop took away our font again, and I have
God
to
damn
re-download it again. I was gonna make a thumbnail that said bonus episode. Fuck it, I'm doing it later. It's gonna be a different font for the
Fuck
bonus
it, we'll do it
episode.
live. I'm kidding.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Fuck it.
This is not
Man.
the vibe. This is not the vibe.
Wow,
Carnival, maybe?
my
It could
voice
be the
not
vibe.
br-
Oh, man.
Gotta make it
Was
the
everyone's
vibe.
deepest, darkest secret?
I murdered a man in 08.
I don't know that I can legally
And
tell
I
you
know
about
where
that
the body is.
without having to make it
Yeah.
disappear.
Nobody
No.
knows I'm bisexual.
I thought you were gay.
What?
What?
No.
What the fuck?
Praying to God that my parents never find Twitch and find out that I'm non-binary.
Oh God.
I actually feel that. I never like had that conversation with my parents. So
Because I've said that multiple times on this channel. There's evidence of me on YouTube stating that multiple times in various different places. Let's hope they never find it.
Well, Dono is doing all this, and
There we go.
we haven't done anything. I would love if I can get like a really quick this was the inspiration for my character, because
Oh yeah.
everyone is playing really fleshed out, really interesting and amazing characters, and I'm really curious if there was like a spark to them in some sort of way.
Okay. I've explained before, I don't know how many times before, but I've explained before that the one thing I wanted going into this campaign
Yes.
was I wanted a pre-established relationship with one of the other players. I didn't care how, I didn't care in what way, I just wanted a pre-established relationship with another character. So Donna was like, okay, how about your brothers with somebody? Or how about your siblings with somebody? And I looked at Dadley, or Dadley had previously brought up that he wanted the same thing. That
Yes, me
You
and
had-
Dippy stream with each other so much that playing a relative of him felt very natural.
So I had brought it up, and then you heard it, and it was like, I definitely want to do that. So, but then to step back even further in time before that, I have, in my lifetime of Dungeons and Dragons, I've played a couple of dwarves, I've played a couple of tieflings, and in the context of a campaign itself, I had never been a dragonborn, so I didn't make a dragonborn. I made someone that looked like a dragonborn, but was different. Because dragonborn mechanically are one of the worst, fleshed out characters. It took on making a whole nother book.
Yeah.
for
Granted, yeah, they
Dragonborn
have gotten a
fleshed out
lot
in
better
way that
since
a lot of other
the
races have.
the new book has come out.
Husbands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
But Canna was an idea that I had where it was like I love the concept of parity within races, right? Like tabaxi can look like house cats, but they can also look like snow leopards or tigers or cheetahs or anything like that. Or Aarakocra can look like bald eagles, like their racial thing would suggest. But they can also look like blue jays, or they can be very corvid like Kenku, but they can actually fly and they can actually talk. That kind of thing. And Kenku are the same way. You can make them look like any other bird.
I played in a game once where, because it's kind of Caribbean themed, all of the bird races outside of Kenku are
Like parrots
it
and
can be
macaws.
like parrots, macaws, birds of paradise, ospreys.
Granted, you could-
The Kenku,
Yeah.
there are Kenku, but then there's also like kiwi, like flightless
Yeah.
tropical birds, and like the giant parrot, and everything.
yes.
So in any case, I thought, well, if Triton can look like fish people, what else can Triton look like? And my mind went to one, and eventually what came to be sea serpents.
Mhm.
There are not only like sea serpent dragons, but also there's like common sea snakes, and they're reptiles that swim underwater. Reptiles. That's a weird way to say
It is, yes.
reptilian.
So yeah, there are reptiles that swim underwater, and I was like, well, that's perfect. I mean, the only other thing like that would be an iguana, but that would even be a stretch of like, you're just a lizard folk at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dadley, let's turn the question on you because I'm actually interested. Where did you get your idea for or 12?
So I think I know me and Dono have talked about this at length, that originally the whole spark was me just being like, hey, what the fuck? Oathbreaker is known for being evil. How do I play an Oathbreaker that's not evil? And then coming up with this huge backstory that he worked for the crown and this happened and that happened, and the actual, like, originally I wanted to try and play the exact opposite of Merc. I
Mhm.
went from goofy, himbo, love everybody, cracking jokes, to I wanted to play somebody like emo, dark, brooding, everything sucks. And that is so hard to do with how funny everybody is. It genuine. It is so fucking hard to play somebody that hates the world while I'm with people that genuine make me love the world. Like,
Oh.
Doesn't
so
help that he
that-
got a goth girlfriend, so you know.
we still don't know if what Avery has never once said a pronoun.
I'm just saying, like.
Yes.
You
Which
got a
I do
golf
find
partner.
fascinating, and I'm excited to talk to Stealthy about those decisions. But
I mean,
Yeah.
Avery's Faye. I mean, they're tricky like that. So.
yeah, besides that, everything else about 12 really has just come from like the best way I could say it is like the character started as I want him to be emo. I grew up very much depressive, emo, upset, and I'm acting in the way the like 14-year-old me wish I acted in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
Go to bed. All right, love you. Good night.
It's interesting.
So, yeah, that is kind of like 12's whole vibe is like
puts
yeah.
Canna's frustration into context.
Yes.
because characteristically, Canna is like Canna's mannerisms, his Cannerisms, if you will,
cannibalisms.
No.
are basically the fullest embodiment that I can of my natural tendency to try to help people without actually knowing how to help them. Like Canna's personality is so different. I mean, not very different. Farron helped people and knew because he saw into the future. Canna wants to see into the future, so he learned divination magic, and he tries to use that to help people, but he's not exactly mastered the craft yet, you know?
He's definitely gotten better at it as the campaign has gone.
Absolutely he has, yeah.
Yeah. So I think everybody's character has improved within their specialty. I'm actually kind of curious because Fantasy, I don't know what inspired your character, and I just remember you being like, I'm gonna be a sorcerer, and me being like, fuck yeah, because I know you love that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so so what inspired you to be Lux? Fantasy, like what was your thought process on this?
So, I was recently, out before we started this campaign, I was told, you haven't played your main you haven't played it at all. And I was like, I haven't. So I decided to do a sorcerer for that. I just love sorcerers, and that was my first ever character back in 2015, so... but...
9 years ago, if anybody's wondering.
Yeah.
Why you gotta do that?
Why?
Why would
It's
you
fine.
do that?
Why would you do that?
It just means I've been playing D&D for 9 years.
Yeah.
And I'm okay
How-
with that.
Man, I don't know how long I've been playing D&D for, and weirdly, I can look at Spotify to tell me. Because the first time I ever played D&D was recorded for a podcast.
That means, oh god, that means I started playing D&D 10 years ago.
I just know because it was...
Wow, let me actually look it up.
We started the month after we graduated from high school, so
Oh, God.
it was pretty easy to...
Well, Emily, you were my
Ah.
first DM ever.
Mhm.
I believe I started the year my son was born. So,
Yeah.
I've been playing for
2017.
about 9 years too.
Oh gosh.
I'm at year 4.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Congratulations!
So quarantine.
What?
Yeah, quarantine. Yep.
You're
September.
quarantined.
In September
Oh,
of
no.
2020 is when the first episode of that podcast released.
Mhm.
Saga, if you want to listen to it, it's still out there. I swear so much because I was nervous in that first episode. My mother listened to it and was just like, I think every other word out of your mouth was fuck. And I'm like, I was so scared.
So when you get nervous, all I have to listen to is how many times you say the F word.
Yes, absolutely. I don't want to say and like, so fuck comes out. Actually,
Oh wait, I was gonna go to Stealthy. Stealthy, what?
yes.
How did you come up with Avery?
How did I? Okay, you're part of the reason about this.
I
So,
know.
for those of you that don't know, Avery was only supposed to be in for like 4 episodes. Okay.
It's not my fault.
Really?
My players adopt
Yeah.
you, okay? I warned you.
I was supposed to be. This is why Avery. Why half the time, whenever we reference anything about Avery's past, I'm looking at Tano going, because I did not make an in-depth background for Avery. Okay.
Oh my god,
Because
you could
Avery
not
wasn't
tell.
supposed to be around this long.
Avery seems like has the most baggage and backstory. Just to be the one.
Does that say more about the improvised?
As soon as I realized that I was actually going to be sticking around permanently, that's when all the baggage and backstory was created, okay?
I love that.
To be fair,
Everything else...
you have also had a lot of free will to go with your backstory. So
Yeah. I... That's why it's a lot of it... So this started out with Dono wanted to introduce you guys to the Feywild. And you guys were supposed to go to the Feywild when my character showed up. I was supposed to take you to the Feywild. But that's not what happened.
The tables
We
have
were
turned.
supposed to go to the Fae that early?
yeah.
Yes!
Well then.
I can't even remember what you were supposed to do because
Oh
you
my
guys
God.
switched it so hard.
Yeah.
Because we
Hardcore.
retrieved. So we went to. Okay, that early in the campaign.
Yeah.
The only reason that we met Avery in the woods was because we were looking for Lux had been
Yes.
captured.
Mhm.
Right.
And like we were trying to find Lux and be like, well, where did they go? And Avery was like, they might have gone to the Feywild, but the portal for the Feywild is in this lighthouse. And we just happened to get to the lighthouse.
I had made an
Before-
entire fucking dungeon for that lighthouse. And
Yep.
because you met Avery, like beforehand, before I had put like Stealthy in the campaign, I was like, oh, you guys are gonna go to this lighthouse and everything like that. And then I was like, hey, Stealthy, you want to come in and play? And then Stealthy was just like, I'm gonna bring you guys with me. I'm like, okay. Dungeon's gone. That's why you guys saw like all the little traps and everything and the people in it and shit like that, because it was all planned.
I want to stress, because I just checked the thumbnails, because I know Avery is in the thumbnail for their first episode. That was episode 5. That was the 5th episode.
And now
Yep.
we are on 38.
39 is
Yeah.
our next one.
39 will be our next one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have
will
no
be
notes
next
of
Yep.
that day.
I was only supposed
Because
to
you
be
weren't
around
here.
for like 3 or 4
Exactly.
episodes.
So what was supposed to end at 9 has thus far gone on through
Yep.
39.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what Dono had said is like, hey, I'm trying to get them to go to the Feywild. Stealthy, because I excel at making characters that will fuck around with everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
And y'all get to find out. So that was the whole thing. I was supposed to come in, be this Fey that brings you to the Feywild. You guys go on an adventure. I disappear into the Feywild. It was gonna be this wonderful little like, oh hi, bye, and then I just stuck around.
Yeah.
You found a pretty
So
little
now I had
paladin
to-
boy that
I found a little paladin, fat
You
paladin
found a
boy.
paladin twink.
and you
Well,
and
Dono
you
didn't
said-
like give me any direction on how to get you guys to the Feywild. I didn't know what the plan was. I was just show up. and be
I
Faye
can't
like.
give
So that's
you
what I
everything.
did. We didn't talk about that.
Fine.
I love that if you stayed on track with that, you would have 100% lured 12 into the Feywild. 12 would be like, okay, yeah, I'll
100%.
follow you.
That was
Like-
the entire goal.
Yeah.
I was trying to lure 12 because I very quickly realized Canna will follow after 12 and the party will follow Canna. So my goal was to get 12 into the Feywild.
By the way, by the whole fucking way, like, so the way that I make campaigns is that within like the first 5 episodes is where like most of my planning is. And shit, it's where like the most of it, like these are the different little stories and everything. You get things you're supposed to find out and whatnot, and that's supposed to develop for the rest of the story. You guys fucked everything that I did. and so again,
But
we have a
haven't followed
campaign that's
anything
completely
that-
changed. Like, I mean, I plan the thing with
Island.
The tongue.
Island, yeah, with the tongue. That was like the biggest thing. Yeah, but I also wanted you guys to stick with the stone. But
Stick with that. I have no idea. I don't know
So
what you're talking
in the
about.
second episode, this is something that I wanted to like.
Wait. Let
Not
me
come
finish
up again.
answering the question
Yeah,
first.
go
oh
before we
yeah.
divert
Sorry,
into
you
this.
totally.
Yeah, so I originally had made this character to be fuck around, find out Faye. And then all of a sudden, I'm here. I'm obviously staying here. What do I do with this character? So Dono and I had to have multiple conversations. Like, you guys don't know how much messaging me and Dono actually do during the session with each other on any given session because we just don't know.
The freaking last session, you would have like completely forgotten about like the Faye deals if I didn't just message you privately and just like, hey, Faye deal. And
Faye,
you're like,
Faye
oh.
knows. I was like, oh, fuck. I've got a whole pinned rule system, okay, guys? So I had to figure out, okay, what am I going to do with Avery? So who actually is Avery now? The things that I do know, because had I been making a character to be like a long-term character in this campaign, I probably wouldn't be playing a cleric. Faye might have been up in the air about that, but you know, I'm primarily a person who plays rogues and warlocks, and stuff like that. So being a cleric is a whole new thing for me. And I had to figure out on the fly who is Avery and what are they doing. The only things that I knew is that Avery was basically a soldier of the Feywild, of a court in the Feywild. That they were non-binary and kind of a little bit of a badass. So, and that was it. So I've had to very quickly figure out what drives and motivates Avery, and it's turned into this person who's both simultaneously young and old. Because I always thought that's because of the time difference in the Feywild. Things can be a day in the Feywild can be 1 second or 100 years in the material plane. So how old is actually Avery? How long have they been around? They're both simultaneously about 20. But they've also experienced a whole lot of life stuff, and I think that's put Avery in a unique position in the party to be the same person who gets, you know, just like every young, dumb 20-year-old gets really wound up by their emotions, but at the same time to be the voice and reason and the experience in the party. That's why Avery can sit there and basically have the conversations that they have with everybody, because they've literally been around for that long to have that experience. So I mean, that's basically kind of, and it's unintentional of Avery's kind of slow, methodic way of talking kind of is just more me. When I roleplay, I will really think about what I'm saying to people, and Avery just kind of picked that up. And I think to others, it's just Avery being part from the Feywild, really thinking about exactly what they're saying and all the connotations that can be taken and how they need it to mean. It's also just kind of me trying to figure out, like, this is a character who has to be very careful about what they say all the goddamn time. and that's their whole experience. So it's been an interesting flex of my role play, because I'm normally playing characters who are really suave, charismatic, a lot like Astra from D20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
D20 detected dark energy.
Yeah, dark
always.
energy is generally the type
Return
of
of the
character
Sith.
that I play.
So,
Which,
So-
by the way, you can also check out Dark Energy D20 Detectives and a playlist on YouTube at
Yes, you
ANIPOD YT.
and
I
we
will
like to
say
roleplay the DM.
it has been lovely being able to DM all you guys and your characters, and the amount of growth and change that has come throughout this entire campaign. 100% your guys' characters are not the same as like they were when you started. They have grown into different people, but still being themselves, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to see and to get like used to that beat. And I feel like as we've gone with this campaign, we've really become like a good unit, and like the story that we're telling, and I love that. Yes.
I was gonna say, I know Dippy wanted to bring up something really quick just for stream. You might be sitting here looking like, hey, somebody is missing.
Oh yes.
Aludra, unfortunately, just due to scheduling, will not be joining us in, I don't know, the near future. I'm not
Future
sure
episodes
the game.
and such.
Yeah, future episodes. I'm not sure if Dono and her have talked, but just wanted to bring that. It clicked in my head.
Yeah.
I saw Aludra in chat.
Yeah.
I wish to.
Hello.
Trust me, we miss you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As soon as you can come back, come back.
Yes.
Yes.
The door is always open.
Dippy, episode 2. You had something you wanted to talk about.
That fucking egg, man.
Hey,
Stone.
oh yeah.
We just kind of like, okay, so Lux and the egg. Well, but Lux was taken because she hid the egg under her hat.
Yeah.
And then we got her back and no egg.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that that's like the thing that Avery is being brought back for to talk about is this seed that was like mentioned. You know,
It's been mentioned multiple times in the campaign.
It's been mentioned in other things.
Yeah.
I
as
totally
well
forgot
as being
about the
mentioned
egg.
in other things.
I forgot about the egg too.
It was mentioned. It was mentioned in the deal that Canna was getting when he was being, tongue
Coerced
twisted.
into
When he was being
Talk about the
tongue
world's
twisted.
worst tongue
and all of
twister.
literally. And
It was
I
a
just,
ripping good time, honestly.
I wanted to bring this up. I wanted to bring this up too, that Dono picked the worst person to try to give a warlock pact to when no one else was allowed to make a warlock pact at the beginning of the game. Because there will never be a character that I didn't already make as a warlock that I'm going to turn into a warlock. Like, it will be... It was one of those things where I saw what was happening, like, pretty shortly after the moment of utter betrayal. And stabbing me in the solar plexus with a part of my backstory that I specifically made not to be stabbed with.
Hey, if you give me a...
I gave him a dull knife, he sharpened it, and then stabbed me.
I'm sorry, but... No, I'm not. Okay.
No,
That
no,
was an amazing
and don't
story
be,
point.
and don't be sorry. Like I'm still not quite sure if Islan actually gives a damn about Canna or not, even with especially with the cryptic responses that he most recently got. But when he began talking as one of the Titans in the world, and it was just like. You can release me with the power of this seed. And I'm just like, I don't think I want to do that. And he was just like, all right. Apparently, that would have killed Canna had he not gotten a natural 20
Oh yeah.
on whatever save it was.
I did say at like the beginning of this campaign that there's a high chance of death.
Yeah.
Which is why they
Yeah.
needed a cleric.
Yeah.
Yep.
So glad.
Yeah.
So glad we kept the cleric around.
Yeah.
Well, because the initial party of, I think there was an initial party of 6, and of that party of 6, 3 of us have stuck around.
Yeah.
And we're only a party of 5 because of Avery and Siggy.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's gotten to a point where it's just like when
Thanks,
we were reminded
Raquel.
when we were reminded of Shovel via the note that was given to Canna,
Mhm.
and mistakenly reminded of the dwarf character that
Fucking awesome. My next 2 rolls are done with disadvantage.
oh wow, really?
Yeah. Thanks, Raquel
Incredible.
and Dadley.
Huh?
Huh? I didn't do anything.
What?
Ooh.
Where? I love that guy.
Incredible.
But yeah. There are some, like, obviously, there's been some fucked up things that I think has happened to every single one of your characters so far. Dadley.
I brought mine in.
Yeah.
I brought my own fuck
carry
up from
mine
home. I
around
think that's
with me.
okay.
I brought-
Yours is quite literally,
BY
we got introduced to it last session.
BYO
Yeah.
BYOFUT. Bring your own fucked up trait.
Yeah, but in this case, it's bring my own fucked up sword.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Since you went into the dream that thing, like, it can now talk to you.
I was like, yeah, great.
Wait, so is Canna BYOFUB? Bring your own fucked up brother?
Technically,
Which-
Canna tagged along. Okay.
Yeah. 12 kinda. Yeah, that's the other. Talking about how much characters have changed. 12 just stopped running, and I don't know when I made that decision. Oh.
It's when, I
So-
think it happened when you guys decided to have a direction to help Canna.
12, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We had that party episode that 12 got drunk,
Carved his
Okay.
name on the walls.
carved his name on the walls, and like that very much, like, for me therapeutically, of like, I'm taking ownership of my name, that no longer I even like, because now I got a new one that says Abner. But yeah, that was
Yeah, and
that
there
was a big turning point. Who would have thought college frat party where we all got drunk was 12's like first big turning point?
Mhm.
You know, it was one of Canna's too. Weird.
Oh,
It
that's where you
was,
guys
'cause
got
you
to
stayed in the
see the
bathtub.
first. At the very end, you guys got to see the first little bit of Avery's trauma.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I just
Yeah.
had fun.
I was
You
about
did.
to say,
And Lux just is vibing, man.
Lux
Lux-
has just
Lux-
been vibing.
Lux is a conqueror of men.
In this group, in this insane group, Lux is the only normal one. Okay,
Out of this group
Well,
of virgins,
and
Not
they got
anymore.
more in their brain.
And now I have tentacle.
Lux
tentacles in my
fucks.
face.
That
Oh,
needs
yeah.
to be that needs to be Lux fucks needs to be an 18+ sticker that we have.
Oh my
Like-
god.
Oh
yes.
my god, yes.
With like a little spell book that says like smut on the front of it. Like
Yes.
yes.
It's LUXFUX.
So everyone's not, so to go with the trauma that is given everybody. Obviously, Avery has now a talking sword of the person they killed.
I'm trying to kill them.
Yes. Lux, you have tentacles on your face now, so you're
Yep.
currently actually hiding your true self again.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Uh,
Yeah.
12, you are taking charge of your own
I'm
name.
branded on the neck still.
Yes,
Like,
but it is gold now, so you got some bling.
it is. It's pretty
That's
now.
pretty
My
cool.
trauma is pretty.
My trauma is pretty.
You're
New
like-
trauma just dropped. Check it out.
You're like the girl that
So-
finally found their look, you know?
Yes.
Canna? Fuck, dude.
The amount.
Yeah.
Alright. I wish I knew how to make GIFs because I want a reaction GIF to the amount of times I've seen Dippy go, blah.
Yeah.
Bleh.
Don't you make the gifs for the channel?
I don't know how to
Like the-
turn a video into a GIF.
Oh.
I know how to animate my own.
There are video to GIF transformers. It's pretty easy.
I have to do it. All right, I would have to
But
do that.
so yeah, characteristically, Canna was going to be a pretty happy-go-lucky, like, oh, I'm just here to be like the crime solver, you know? Like, I'm here to
That
be
was
a
your first
problem
mistake.
solver.
Okay.
That was my first mistake. So, I also wanted to ask,
Yes.
I mean,
Are you asking
kind
me?
of in a roundabout way,
Okay.
because there's been a lot of like poking and prodding between Canna and Avery of like questions of loyalty, not just to party but to individual people, like being brought up and being very like giving a lot of friction with that. In Canna's own mind, Canna and Avery are on pretty even terms right now. Does Avery feel the same? I don't
Sorry,
know.
you had me in the middle of eating a caramel and my teeth got stuck together.
That's fine.
Understandable. True.
Yeah, Avery kind of used Canna as simultaneously one of the smartest people that they've ever met, but also the most naive on the face of the fucking planet.
Yeah, that's Canna's whole shtick. Is that
Yeah. And it irritates. I think what really is the root thing. Avery sees Canna as what they could have been.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Ooh. Ooh.
And that's just a wrinkle that just irritates the crap out of Avery.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, and it just irritates the crap out of Avery.
As what they could have been in an alternate universe that they like or don't like themselves being.
That is the
Well,
question.
That is
That we'll
above
have room
table.
We'll have room to talk about that later in the campaign, I suppose.
Yeah, that's something that we'll get into later.
Yeah.
You'll find out the extent of Avery's trauma.
Obviously, we can't talk
Oh,
about
right.
like everything that we want
Yeah,
to.
right.
Within
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be things, but like obviously, let's talk
obviously.
about things that have happened.
Yeah.
but-
So Avery, let's just say, like I said, this is where I would like to point out for those who are paying attention. The reason Avery is both simultaneously old and young is not just the Feywild shit.
Okay.
Lucha, please remind me of that next time we play.
New NPC name for 10,000 channel points.
Crispy Bacon.
Bacon.
Nice.
There you go.
You know what? Let's build the NPC right now.
So that's a lot of the friction between Canna and Avery, because
Canna is very unsure about Avery. Like on a day-to-day basis, Canna is not sure if Avery is using them or is genuinely trying to become friends with them. Like that's a doubt that Canna still has.
At
But
this
it's been
point,
loosening. It's been loosening.
Avery is trying to figure out how to be friends within this context on the material plane, because friendships in the Feywild work way differently.
I mean, your
of
last
course.
friend you stabbed in the night you killed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, my let me put it to you this way. My character's last friend stabbed them through the back, all the way through, and then which they turned around and then killed that friend and then turned them into their sword.
Yeah.
So if that gives you why,
Yeah.
like, Avery, and then Canna is just like so trusting of like of these other people and super protective.
Yes.
And Avery is just like, you don't get how this world can actually work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of here, the difference between Canna and Avery is one of my favorite lines from Hades Town. Avery sees the world for what it is, and then Canna sees the world for what it could be, in spite of the way that it is.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah, that's Canna.
They're two
That's
sides
Lux,
of
how would
like-
you, or Lux, Emily, how would you say Lux sees the world then? With that context in mind.
a lot of hot, sexy men. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I answered for you. That's wrong.
It's very, yeah.
How does Lux see the world?
Well, the way that she grew up, she sees the world as shitty. That's why she became a
Yeah.
librarian.
Can I just say, there's so much that I have planned that I'm so excited for you guys to have to react to that I can't talk about. Like, that's the thing that sucks about Talkback episodes, is that you guys get to talk
Yes.
about everything that's cool, and I'm just like, you motherfuckers have no idea.
I did on that. I will say I run miniseries. I do like 4 to 6 episodes for all my stuff. I'm gonna start scheduling a Talkback episode at the end of them. Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
good thing to have.
Yeah, we need to do
when
when
I was sitting
even
down-
a little bit of a talk
Yeah.
back about fucking D20 detectives.
Oh,
because
yeah.
that-
I mean,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
all
that'd be
here.
great.
We're all in it.
yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
we are.
this-
Yeah.
this
If you
was-
guys had anything, like, by all means, because when we were sitting down to eat, oh, hydrate.
Oh,
Oh,
Um,
crap.
When I was at Dippy's house sitting down and eating dinner, out of silence, he looks up at me and starts asking a question about D20 detective.
Yeah. So, okay, and I will rephrase that question here for the viewing audience. Then this is a crossroads. It's a crossroads border, but I was going into this kind of anticipating that we would talk about like any campaign that we were individually. a
We're
part
all
of.
friends. We're just kind of hanging
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, D20 Detectives, episode 2. Like, right at the beginning of it. It was either
Yes.
the end of episode 1 or the beginning of episode 2. Nat has gone full, like, investigator mode to try to be like, what in the world?
cookies.
Oh, cookies. Okay. Nat has gone
That's a
full
fucking
investigator mode to try and be like, okay, he's normally a forensics guy, but he's gonna try to take what he's gonna try to take what he's learned from eavesdropping at the detective's place at the police station to try to be a good investigator because he's equipped with all this cool stuff.
Yes.
He touches Vander, and Vander immediately evaporates, disappears.
Yes. Yes. He's
And
resulted
for the
to
longest
ash.
for the longest time, until I learned he was a vampire, like I was like, why did he just turn to ash? Like vampire explained that part. Didn't explain why me touching him and no other context did that. I came up with my own thing that I texted Dadley about, and I
Yes.
will try to say it here. In episode 1 and at the beginning of episode 2, we did not interact with Vander at all. We really
Nobody
did.
did. Yep.
And
No.
then the moment that, and when I was describing Nat, I described him as rusting and tarnished silver. So when I was watching back episode 1 and I realized that I described myself as silver, I thought, he vanished when I touched him because I'm made of silver, and that's something that dissuades lycanthropes and vampires. And I was like, that was really clever how you picked that up so quick. And then he says,
It was not that he had a contingency spell on him. The guy that tried to cyanide himself ran the runes in magic for the building. He had the contingency spell, like he had spell work going on. That's why he had the void of magic around him. Is they couldn't just conceal the one spell, so they concealed all of his magic.
Ravgu. We're talking.
Ravgu?
We are like talking about, this is about a campaign that isn't this one. You can check it out on our YouTube. It has all the episodes. It's called D20 Detectives. Dippy just had a dying question that he wanted to ask Dadley, who was the DM for said campaign. I highly recommend you go watch it. It's very interesting, very fun. We all played in it. It was a blast.
Oh, and when the door guy for the elevator pushed all of Nat's buttons, one of them was supposed to turn him to stasis mode. I forgot to mention that.
I would have never thought it. Yes. Okay.
One of them would have like would have turned him off. Like, and I mean he would have been able to wake up again, but like completely forgot that one of Nat's buttons just turns him off.
Okay.
It literally, yeah. So
I do have a question.
that was supposed to be a question, but it turned into a statement.
Yeah.
That
That's all good. Yeah.
became a counter statement on Deadly's part. So yeah.
Bringing it back to Crossroads, I want to know your guys's because I never got to ask how did you guys like the golden dragon fucking blessing thing? Like,
that was awesome.
Really dope. Really awesome.
Bradley spent the entire time so confused. Something about it, like, don't get me wrong, imagery, storytelling, beautiful. Dono, I love how you tell stories. Something just didn't click in my head, and I'm like, the fuck you mean he's a dragon? We just walked him up this mountain. Like,
so I lit up when he was introduced because I was like, oh, we're gonna get to interact with Mineral again. How fun. And then he turned into a dragon, and that confused me just as a moment of like, what the fuck? Like,
he's been a dragon the whole time.
When we met
Avery
Mineral, he
was
was just like a
convinced
earth
that
fucker. Like,
Avery was convinced from the jump start that he was some type of higher, more powerful being than they were. And it was a matter of, what is he?
So the biggest hint for him being a dragon last campaign was the fact that he gave red dragon pepper flakes to Marish. That was like his big thing. That and like the golden veins and eyes and everything like that for being an Earth Genasi. Yeah, he like was secreting gold like dragon energy and such. So like I had hints. It wasn't like obvious or anything like that, but it was, it was there. So yeah, I had thought about that because I was just like, I really wanted to give you guys a situation where it was a challenge of just like, hey, I'm gonna throw things in your way. You are not allowed to fight them. You have to figure out other ways around it, because this is a peace march to the top of this mountain to put this person's soul to rest, and so that they can ascend to basically draconic heaven. And through that ascension was able to give you each essentially like a blessing or a boon or something.
Which I'm thankful for, because otherwise I would not be able to have the Muslim score that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dono, I can't lie, Dono really hooked me up, because not only was I done playing, dude, fucking Oathbreaker's a terrible class. It's a bad class. I was done playing that, but also 12 stats, I rolled for shit. And Dono very much blessed me with like, no, just give that one a bump. It's okay, bud. You can, it doesn't have to be so low.
Sometimes rolling for your stats is great, and sometimes you get the shit end of the stick.
Yes.
And I do have a rule that when you roll your stats, if you roll like below 0.5, yeah, you can just take 0.5. Like, yeah.
That's totally valid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof indeed, Alutra.
Okay. All right. Apparently, Donald's going to be the one to keep us on topic, because I'm going off of Crossroads again for my last off-topic question. Everyone here has DM'd on the channel.
Yes.
Besides one. Hey, Emily, do you have ideas if you ever had to DM?
Well, so I was actually thinking that if we ever actually got together
Yeah.
in person.
Mhm.
I was gonna ask if you guys would want to do a dread game with a Jenga tower.
Oh, that
I'm
would be
so
so
down.
much fun.
I'm so down.
Yeah, so that just means we need a
In
We
person.
just all have to
session?
meet up.
Yeah.
I'll meet
Yes.
up and record that session.
Yep.
Obviously.
Yes.
exactly. Of course.
All right.
Get us in a con, and Emily will be the DM for.
Exactly.
I actually love the vibe that Emily is exclusively the DM while we're in person.
Yeah,
Yes.
in person.
Emily is the in-person DM.
Where's me?
Like you gotta pay
No,
for
because
them.
the rest of us would spend too much time fucking with each other.
Mhm.
If any one of us
Yeah.
were in person
Yes.
running a game for the others.
Mhm. By the way, if anybody wants to question why I give like high level monsters at not low level players, blame this lady down below. Threw a fucking black dragon at a level 5 party.
Me and 12 killed a
We
baby
killed a
dragon
dragon.
turtle.
I
You don't
killed
have
my
to say,
party.
you don't have to say babby. Babby. You don't have to say baby.
I love
We killed
that
a
you
dragon.
brought that up last
so,
session.
Wait, so when that happened, okay, why were we even in the cave with the baby
I don't
dragon?
remember. And I tried to smoke up with the dragon.
Yeah, why?
It was-
oh,
it was
because
a
it was
series of
attacking the ship.
terror.
It was attacking the ship that we were
Yes.
crossing the lake on, and it was just like, we
was the thing-
convinced it to like.
It
go
was the
back
thing
home?
destroying ships going
Yeah.
through the trade route.
No, yeah, that's why. Because we were given a mission for it. We were
Yeah.
literally given a. We were literally.
Literally.
That was our first
Literally?
objective. That was our first mission, was to find out why ships were disappearing, and we figured out it was a baby dragon turtle. And then it was just like, okay, well, I'm a Triton. I'll just follow it home. I'll just follow it where it goes. and
Yeah.
I'll
You know.
try to convince it, because that's the kind of person that I am.
And then you left 12 alone with it for too long.
I was going to talk to, well, because there was a guy down there. I had to help the
Yeah,
guy.
there was
I
some
was helping the
guy.
turtle. I was helping the turtle, and then I was like, oh, I have to help this guy because he's the husband of
Yeah.
the woman that I know that gives out a lot of the quests in town. Or
Fred.
I don't. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, stay here. Don't let the turtle leave, because if he leaves, then he'll figure out something's up. And so the best plan that you had to get him to stay was to try and smoke up with it.
Get him stoned. He's not going to want to leave his house. He's going to want to chill on the couch.
And then,
just-
because you guys couldn't understand each other,
Yep.
it
Yeah,
just-
we couldn't communicate.
it thought it should eat the weed instead of smoking it. And it was like, you're poisoning me. Fuck off. And then you...
Yep.
Yeah. That was not my proudest moment. That was not either of our proudest moment until 5 turns later, when it all of a sudden was one of the greatest things that both of us had
Yes.
ever done. Like,
I
Yes,
love
and-
that 12 was just like, how big was the dragon turtle last session? And I'm like, oh, it was like 10 by 10. Or like 11 by 11.
15
And
by
it's like, oh.
it felt a lot bigger than that.
No, it
the
was like
moment.
10 feet by 10 feet, large dragon turtle.
It felt a lot bigger
And I
than
love
that. in the
that you
moment, yeah.
lied to the king and queen. And it was just like, it was 11 by 11. Oh, thank God it wasn't a baby.
Yep. So actually, on that note, a lot of quotes have come out of this campaign so far.
Yeah.
What is some of everyone's favorites?
Oh.
Oh,
Are we doing
wow.
like each for our characters, or?
Just in general. It could be yours, it could be somebody else's.
Here's the thing with me. I don't really remember quotes.
That's
super
fair.
Well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think,
I don't.
do you
latch
remember
on
the
to
one
quotes.
that, here we go, Dippy. I think you should remember this one. Last campaign, the quote that I gave to Yip as the mother, saying goodbye to her. Or saying goodbye to Victor at the edge of the floating
No.
island is, I love you, please don't remember this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Oh boy.
Oh, ouch.
Because it was such.
I remember that now.
Yeah. It was a extremely. Yeah, it was the so the thing that I was like for that moment, it was meant to be like, know that I love you. Please don't not let this be the last memory of us.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you guys fucking cried.
Yeah, in terms of this campaign, you gotta talk about like one of the most recent bangers. Like, could I possibly get the short version? Never.
Never. It's so
I
good.
have a thing. I
So
realize that I
much
have a
world building for so much like race building for treants in one word.
One word.
Like
It's efficient
Never.
storytelling.
that was the most efficient thing that he said in the entire time that we were interacting with him, and it was to tell us that he will never be more efficient than this. Like, I love that. I love that. I love that.
I realize that I do trees very well.
Weirdly.
I don't like. We got logins. We've got the sentry. We've got the treant, which he didn't. You guys didn't even ask for his name, so I don't think I ever
we
made
didn't
one.
ask his name.
No.
I love that Avery was like on the phone. It was just like hello, and 12 was just like click.
Oh yes. I think that.
Okay, I want to stress, Stealthy even went back, reviewed the footage, and was just like, no, I made my voice hotter. Because, like, it threw me off so bad. How do I say this without being too weird? I am not somebody who shies away from saying, I find 99.99% of my friends attractive. There's no getting around it. I think Stealthy is a beautiful human being. Yes, they are absolutely attractive. They are also happily in a relationship to someone that gives them food, and I'll be jealous forever to the end of time. So, like, yes, we play romance together, and it's so, like, in the back of my brain, being like, I love playing this game with my friend. Like, it's so innocent in my brain. And then Stealthy whacked me with that. It was the first time my brain was like, ah, what happened? Like,
Oh my god, wait! Another one, just in like Canna's canon that I remember. Another one in Canna's canon that I just remember is when we were at the party. Dono, you said something along the lines of, for the first time in a long time, you are completely alone and you feel content with that. And I'm just, when I was sitting in that ale keg,
Yeah.
like it was just in darkness.
It was quite literally
trying
a
to
magical
prove
cooler.
trying to prove a point that I was like, oh, I can hold my breath for a really long time. Watch this, and then I didn't come back out because I was so comfortable being alone in a family full of adoptive siblings and 12, and which is not separate from adoptive siblings.
So the thing that I like is that I can relate to both Canna and 12. I grew up in a very large family. I have 6 siblings. I know what it's like to have everybody running around and everything like that and not getting a second to yourself. And constantly I would find moments growing up where I would just be like, I just want to be in my room. Like, I just want to be in my room. I just want to be by myself. And that was my relaxation. And it's a feeling that you don't get a lot, and it's very nice to be in.
yes.
It's something that I love to say that I see in my son a lot, because, like, to be honest, I don't have as big of a family that I've made that is the one that I came from, but it is just as loud and chaotic and happy, which I'm very proud to be able to say. And my son, who is on the spectrum, just decides, hey, I'm just going to be in my room and I'm going to do my thing. And I hear laughter and joy from him, and I'm just like, I know what that feels like. And it's to be able to like give you that Dippy was like a beautiful moment for you, even if it was drowning in alcohol.
Again, not drowning, Triton.
There is also, not to get too deep into it, there is like something really beautiful, and this campaign has led to a lot of really neat imagery as a whole. There is something very amazingly imagery about like Canna is from this very hectic, busy household, and he is finding his space alone in a very hectic, busy area. Not only that, an area that probably, like, you're in the cooler at a frat house. People are probably reaching their hands in constantly, and you are learning to block it out. You are you have learned to ignore that shit from home.
The imagery in my head. This was a giant keg or an ale barrel.
The best thing. Okay, so the way that I was seeing it is that think of like the punch bowl turned massive, and then has a spiraling keg like tap at the bottom.
That's why
of
I
that.
keep calling it a
not
bathtub.
how I envisioned it at all. That
I imagine it like a bathtub.
Giant brewing vat is basically what I envisioned.
Okay, yeah. The imagery in my head that I've been holding on to basically this whole time is that it was a giant wooden ale cask, right? That had the tap in it, and and he just like plunges into it, and he's just in complete darkness because there's no light really coming into the bowl. There's no light coming into the cask, so you're just like describe this dark place.
It's essentially the same thing. I was just thinking that the liquor and like the dark, like what that was being given, made it a darker area because it wasn't like vodka or anything like that. People were bringing whiskey and juices and not like liquids and stuff that made it into
it was a giant jungle juice container.
Yes, exactly.
It was a giant jungle juice bowl. Was it a transparent bowl?
You could technically see inside of it, but it was very deep.
I mean, obviously.
So, but I always find it interesting the way that like I describe something and the way that people take it, but still like you guys are all seeing a different story, but it's all coming together.
Yeah.
Which I think is I love that about D&D.
Yes. Emily,
oh
any
shit, it's raining.
Quotes, moments that stand out? No.
I think some of my favorite moments, for Lux anyway, is just the quick. You're so quiet, and the next thing you know, Lex is whipping out this quick, smart aleck remark that is both entertaining and simultaneously stings my character, and I'm just like, damn, that's great.
Yeah.
That is that is my favorite.
That's Emily.
Yeah.
That is my favorite thing whenever I get to play one of Emily's characters. It's my favorite thing to be able to be like, oh, I get to use that sense of humor. Fantastic.
When I first started at ANIPOD, I asked a very simple question to every single, we'll call ourselves cast members. I don't know what the fuck we are. Casts of ANIPOD. What is the best sandwich? And that conversation went on for 45 minutes with everyone chirping in with their answer and whatnot. To end with Emily going, the one I don't make. And I'm like, all right, Emily's the best person.
Great.
So that quick wit is like immediately what made me like love working, like love playing with Emily so much. Like, I will say, like, on the imagery and whatnot, I constantly go back to Avery and 12 taking turns steering the cart and drinking tea one-armed.
Yes.
There is just something so, like, because at that point, we are, like, stronger characters. Like, we're no bullshit, like, good combatants and, like, well-traveled at this point in the campaign. And it's so humbling that we can't multitask in that moment. Like,
one regret.
Yes.
The one regret that I have, like, in very recent memory is that the session where 12 almost dies is the one session that I decide, okay, I have a camera job today. I'm not going to be able to play today. And I do this camera work for this baseball game, and I'm like, I wonder how the session is going. It must be pretty fun right now. And I tune into the stream, like right at the end of the stream, to hear okay, so what is everybody doing to try to bring 12 back? And I'm like, what happened? I leave for one session and 12 almost dies? Like, because in that moment, I realized I would never be able to take a session off again. Because
can I just say, it is also the first session that you've ever taken off of ANIPOD.
Like, ever.
Ever. That was your first one. I was
That
just like,
wasn't
I'm not a part
completely
of it.
canceled.
Yeah.
Like, there have been a lot where if I wasn't playing, then no one else did, type beat.
Yeah.
But that episode was the first one was the first one that everybody else played except me, and I had to accept that, and then it just immediately fell apart. Like, in my head.
But that ended up being a really great moment for Avery and 12.
Yes.
Ended up being very important for like character growth.
And can I just say,
Which
Canna played a very important role the entire time, which was like taking care of the cart and making sure things were taken care of.
Yes.
Like you got, now you took care of Maribel. You were you didn't prepare a bunch of spells that I could use for fighting. So you were 100% a support spell like wizard.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic to see you go, okay, let me go help everybody.
Yeah.
Even if you weren't there, it was just like, okay, this is what you gave me. Now I got to play to that.
Which, the whole thing of us being in the town we're currently in, Canna, that event, both over table and in universe, is a gap in his memory because over table I wasn't fucking there for anything that happened. In game, I imagine the gap in the memory is just adrenaline pumping through my system, not allowing me to create a memory of it. Like, there are mechanics where, like, when you are in a traumatic event, there's fight or flight, but there's also, when you're in a traumatic event, you are either completely blocking it out 100% of the way so that it doesn't become deep in trauma. And there's another situation where you are fully internalizing everything and it becomes a part of
it. Like a hyper focus.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I, against my own will and better judgment, I have to play it as if I don't remember any of it. And that's kind of like Canna doesn't really appreciate the gravity of, like, people coming up and being like, you guys are heroes. Aren't you the guys that, like, saved our trade route? Aren't you the people that, like, you know, killed a dragon and a rock? And I have to sit there and be like, we are. In saying we, but Canna has never included himself in that we. Because
Dippy, I think that Canna needs to go to therapy. For that situation.
We all do.
Therapy.
I mean, we all do.
So some of my favorite moments with Avery has been the uber emotionally charged conversations that they end up having with everybody.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I feel like Avery has had one with every character at this point, multiple times with Canna.
God, the one with
12.
the one when we had T. Jones in the cave was a pretty damning
God,
one.
yeah.
That was a pretty like that was in that moment I was questioning whether or not I would be happy or tolerant of Avery continuing to be in the party during that session, because that was that was a rough one.
I remember that episode very deeply, or very like I remember there being a part where you're just kind of like, do you need us to stop this? I'm like, no, keep going. Like I pushed for that to continue because I was just like, you are there was, I think, you guys kind of had to take a break and it was just like, what the fuck's going on? Why am I so mad? Like, I don't not know if I can feel this. Like, you as characters need to resolve a situation. You are brand new to the party of each other. Of course you're at each other's fucking throats. There's no reason you wouldn't be, and you're in an extremely stressful situation. You got your tongue ripped out. You, like, everybody is going through this. Fucking have an argument. Like, fight. That's fine.
of being like
You were all strangers.
yeah, because up to that point, there wasn't really a unifying factor for anybody except being 12. Like, because we were already
Yes.
brothers. And it was just like, that was a moment where everyone kind of like, it was kind of like a trauma bonding experience, but the trauma was created amongst ourselves. It was
That
we were the cause of our own trauma bond.
Yeah.
And
that is yes. I did just to piggyback off that of like that is what I think most interesting thing about this campaign is there's like a really like loose reason. God damn it, like loose reason we're all together. Like we're all together just because we want to be. We don't really have any common goals at the moment. And I think that's fascinating for me storytelling. And like no, like yes, me and you do. But
yeah,
like
me and you.
Dono, as a DM, D&D is a lot about like, hey, here are the common goals. How are you navigating this kind of like unorthodox D&D storytelling?
I mean,
How
at any point, here's the beautiful thing. At any point in time, any one of you, if you decided, I think my character would leave at this point, I'm completely fine with that. You guys are you guys have your own characters and you're navigating your own thing. Lux obviously has their reasons for continuing to be here. I think part of it is that they're enjoying the fucking entertainment around them. Avery,
Oh, yeah.
now you and 12 have a thing
I'm
now.
here because
and
I'm a promise. Well, 'cause, at first, Avery had made a promise to help them in their
Yes.
journey, but never really defined when that would start or end.
It would have
And then, of course, then they claimed the sad emo paladin. So
yes.
Yeah.
We keep saying paladin. I'm a blood hunter
he's not a
now.
paladin.
And
You're a
that's
blood hunter
weird.
now.
You're a
Avery
paladin
claimed the
elf,
sad
yeah.
emo boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. But,
Because I feel like most recently, Avery and 12 had the they finally admitted that they liked each other
Yes.
after dancing around it for 30. What session are we on? 8 sessions.
39.
39.
39.
9 is the next session.
Yeah. I don't know that romance in D&D is a hard thing to navigate.
I will say-
I'll be. Yes.
I actually just fully interrupted you. No, go ahead. But I'll say it
when
later.
when that first started, Dono immediately was like, "Why the fuck is Bradley doing this again?" Because the second I hopped in the last campaign, immediately Merc and Tommy were like thick as thieves. We just latched onto each other. And that was a lot of fun to play. And in my brain, I was like, I'm not doing that again. I told that story. I'm moving on.
And then
And then
tall,
just-
handsome cleric came
Well,
in.
okay. So I did just as a justification for myself and probably just to myself. We've talked a lot about like big family 12 and Canna came from. He then joined the military. Like 12 has very much felt like I am a cog in a machine. I am not an individual. Until Avery. Until Avery. And like I think it was even something like not in the nicest way. It was like Avery looking at 12 and being like, you have made a pact with me. Or it was like something along those lines. Very
Yeah.
distinctly, you have done this. And it was the first time 12 was like, I did this. My organization didn't do it. My family didn't. I did this. Oh my god, I did this. And immediately, like that, like it was such a good moment for him. So yeah, and then it evolved into them being cuddlies. Is what I'm gonna call it.
It does also help that both of you are palad elves.
Yes.
I mean, like,
Kind of.
Yeah.
kind of.
I was like,
Yeah,
Kind
kind
of.
of.
I have figured out
Which-
a bunch of
technically,
like.
by the
I'm
way-
a hex blood.
Which, by the way, base standard Lux is a pale white tiefling. Not tiefling. Changeling.
Change it. Yeah.
Base Avery is a pale white palad elf with white hair and all this other stuff. Base 12 is a pale white with black sclera, gold irises, and a golden tattoo palad elf. base Canna is bright blue. Like, I have been both characteristically and literally, like, visually the most colorful character in the campaign just by virtue of being something that isn't an elf or a human changeling.
You should have gone whiter, you would have had less trauma, dude.
What's funny is at the start of the campaign, you weren't. We had Shovel.
We had
Shovel
we had
was
a
like
bright
half
pink.
down.
We had a bright pink turtle. We had quite a few nice, interesting colors at the beginning of the campaign, and everything is just turned into the car market. It's whites and grays, and
We are a black and white film.
So what you're saying is that I need to add somebody that is quite colorful.
Yes.
So Siggy coming in added a little bit of color, but even then, Siggy's base form is brown and white barn owl, barn owl owlin, and it's just like it's none of this is a knock. None of this is pointing out like a flaw. It's just an observation.
Granted,
that's just like
Lux is walking around in a purple hat and like outfit. They are
bright purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
like,
fair enough.
They look like a little witch, and it's adorable, and I love it. Have you seen like Lux's art? It's on the stream every single time.
Yeah, I have, but it's been long enough since I've actually looked at art. I need to look back because the original art that's pinned in the Crossroads chat includes 3 characters that are not playing anymore. And it's just... Let's see. Yeah. I mean, even in the art, the hat is pretty black. Like, in the art, it's pretty black.
Yeah.
And... I don't know. It's one of those things that it's just...
Oh! Does, like, everybody have a familiar now?
I kind of have a familiar.
Yeah, you have Messenger, which kind of acts as a familiar. He is more of like a servitude type thing to you. Or a servient. I wouldn't call him a servant because he does his own thing. But he is like within the domain of your... Yeah, the beck and call and domain of your father. And such like that.
Yep.
So
the fact that Canna gave 12 the ability to cast the Find Familiar spell, and you gave him a talking Feywild like mouse.
By the way, his original idea, my voice was gonna be like, "Hey guys, how's it going?"
So I think Canna secretly, not so secretly, has been so jealous that 12 got such a neat, like, and not only neat, talking familiar. A familiar that can talk to him. And, like, it just reinforces this thing of, like, Canna has gone from, which I've been trying to dance around it to get to this at some point. Canna has been so together with his family and his town for so long, and over the course of this campaign, he has been so alone. Like, in his own way, because he used to have Islin and his family and his brothers and sisters and his, you know, everything else, and his townspeople that he was helping. Now, he doesn't have any of them, but he replaced all of that with 12, who constantly rejects his advances at being, like, a closely knit brother. Avery, who, for the longest time, did not trust them.
Feeling was mutual.
The feeling was mutual. And Lux,
who
Canna has just not interacted with, either through sheer coincidence of, I'm willing to admit, sometimes I forget to interact with Fantasy. Because Fantasy is, you are such a quiet player. You know when to interact and how to, and when to speak up and when to role play. But none of that coincides with Canna in a weird way.
I want to see, honestly, with you saying that, I want Canna and Lux to actually just sit and talk with each other.
Yeah.
If that is only just being in the same room.
I've
and
been
saying
looking
nothing.
for a moment. I've been looking for a moment to do that.
By the
But-
way, yeah, Canna, you have probably the most devoted, like, familiar in the entire group, because Ink is just like the boy. he is your boy. All right?
I have to literally stick my hand into basically like a pocket dimension to catch my familiar and yank him out of the Feywild.
Yeah.
Just for him to talk back to me every single goddamn time.
Yeah.
Mine's excited by stabbing me.
Yeah.
He's also a dad.
Looking back on the jealousy that Canna
He's
has that
he's
his
a
familiar can talk,
father.
maybe it's misplaced. Maybe Canna's jealousy is misplaced that his familiar can't talk. It's a good thing that his familiar can't talk. Because it would lead to like murderous thoughts and intent otherwise.
Well, it's fine. Mine's just a mimic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So-
I love Armin so much.
Armin is what a wonderful oh cool. A pseudo dragon paper drake familiar, and then is like, nope, that's a mimic.
Mimic, guys.
The mouth
That's a
comes out of the
whole
chest,
mimic.
not the mouth.
Yeah, and it's just a changeling, stroke of genius, a changeling ... with a mimic familiar.
It is
I mean, what a
genuine, so clever.
fucking
Oh, yeah. And he got,
incredible.
oh yeah, and after like the golden dragon thing, he actually starts being able to fly.
Yeah, I mean, it's
His
so
whole-
incredible. A flying mimic? Oh my god.
Um,
That's great.
so we did say we were gonna try to wrap up at 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So are there any other like questions, things y'all want to throw out before we start calling it?
Ooh,
in?
I want to know people's
Oh,
predictions.
you're not done.
I
Okay.
want to know people's predictions for where they think the campaign is going.
Another wedding.
Another.
Another one.
Another wedding?
Honestly, this campaign, okay. Canna can see like a day into the future over table. I can see like what the next day might look like, and I have a general idea of what I want the very, very end to look like. Like, I know, I don't know, but I would like to think that I know where Canna's story will ideally and also non-ideally end.
Mm-hmm.
Is that he will get back with either he will get back with Islan and sort out differences and figure out what happened, and they will lead a life together, or they don't sort out their differences and Canna will be will have a wizard tower somewhere. He'll basically live in the equivalent of this world's kind of like a cell phone tower that's connected to all of the ley lines so that he can communicate with anybody at any given notice. And it's just
He's
like
Santa Claus. Okay.
Canna Claus.
Santa Claus. He sees you when you're sleeping.
And he
And
tells
that's
you, hey, that's improper snoring.
He sees you when you're sleeping. He'll tell you if you have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
Like, hey, just adjust your throat a little bit there, and
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
Tried being a side sleeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, prediction of the end. That's totally not what Dono asked, and I'll answer the question in a second. Going way back to the beginning of character creation, I made 12 being like, this is my first character. I'm okay if they die. I've never experienced that in D&D, and like it genuine sounds fun narratively. Now where we're at in the story, I'm like, I want him to live forever. So I
Well, I
really
was like-
don't know. Yeah.
At this point, Avery's like, motherfucker, you better not die. I have put too much effort into
Yeah.
keeping you alive.
Actually, like player to player moment was beautiful. Of you text me and you're like, "Do you want me to let 12 die?"
Yeah, I did.
You fully text me, and we were trying to like making sure like that wasn't how I wanted it to end, which I thought was beautiful and amazing, and not something I would have thought of.
I definitely think that
So-
like we've gotten to a point where if any one of you died, it would be detrimental to the rest of the characters.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, here's the thing. When 12 initially made his character and said that, like 1, 2, 3 sessions in, Canna's immediate response to my immediate response to Dadley saying 12 is the first character I would be okay with dying, I said, then Canna's mission is going to be to keep you alive. Because like, that is a very pessimistic way, like, over table. I still believe that's a very pessimistic way to view a character, is I'm okay if they die. I need to get better at accepting death and accepting that a character will just fall out of my hands, because I didn't let Farron fall out of my hands because I loved Farron too much. I'm not gonna let Canna fall out of mine either. Don't worry about that. But
no, that force.
At the same time, this is like this situation of 12 is the first character that Dadley would be okay if he died. 12 is the first character that I am simultaneously looking after mine and another person's.
Yeah.
like I will. It got to a point where if 12 died, Canna would just leave the campaign and take the cart with him, and then you would be stuck up shit creek. Like,
which I've said before would be very funny, because we should just come back playing other siblings.
Yeah, we really should.
So I think
biological siblings this time.
So for me, and that moment was because I'm not shy about, like, I've had my characters die before. I've killed other people's characters.
Yeah.
But also it's just the in that moment, as the character Avery has already lost too many soldiers and too many people and friends that they were like, no, they're gonna try to get over there. But also I was like, what do you want? Like, I don't want to take away your character's agency. What do you want? Does Avery assess 12 and realize they can't save him and then move to save anybody they can, or do they fight to save 12 in that moment? And that was what I really wanted to know. So, because, like, personally, I was like, I don't want 12 to die, but, you know.
Yeah, player agency and stuff, which is the beauty of D&D. I mean, like, it boils down to, and you'll hear the phrase constantly in our show and other show, collaborative storytelling. And that's what's beautiful about it. I will stop. I feel like I've been talking a lot about this stuff. So my last statement I will say is, 12 is like spawned from 14-year-old depressive emo me that didn't see a future. And now that I'm an adult, I constantly feel like I'm flying by the seam of my pants, being like, I didn't think I'd make it this long. So it is very fun playing a character that is in the same boat of it, like, as a player of, I'm okay if this character dies. No, I don't want them to die. I'm willing to fight for them, but what does that look like, and how do I do that when that's not what the original concept was? So
I just want to reiterate, there is a point in time where you talked to a friend that is, I believe, a therapist, and told you that your character is having a manic episode, or
yes we did. I don't remember the full. I thought you were talking to the therapist, not me.
No.
Me?
Like, you had described everything that your character was doing.
I essentially, I was talking to a friend that's a psychology major. They actually have now graduated, so congrats.
Congratulations.
Woo!
And yeah,
they
were
probably
breaking...
need to do assessments on all of their characters just for shits and giggles. That'd be great.
It was very funny because I've known them for a long time, and they were explaining that this is what a manic episode looks like. This is probably like, and they kept saying, like, you know, the emotions 12 would be having, trying to get to the cornerstone of 12 doesn't have emotions, Bradley. You have emotions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
So
for
in terms of where the
Avery,
campaign's going.
in terms of where the campaign's going,
prediction. Yes.
Prediction. I have already told Dono this. My end goal for Avery is to become an archfey.
Yes.
Noble.
I think that would be really great. So like that's the end goal. We'll see how that goes. Especially now that they've got 12. Because that's throws kinks in plans, guys. Don't make plans for your future D&D characters. Like, have a general idea, but don't hang on to those because that might not happen.
Yes, the Virgin throwing kinks in plans.
Incredible.
As for like close quarters predictions, I don't really have any. I'm curious what the process of Canna's tongue.
I was about to say,
yeah.
Canna's like main like close quarters prediction is once he gets any tongue that's not this one back, Canna will basically just sit in place until he's told what to do. Like that. That's the point that Canna's at. Is that all I want is for my tongue to be replaced. Well, no. There is another path for me to go down. Yeah. At least is I need to get back to Island as soon as possible now.
Yes.
And
Avery's about to drag you all to the
taking a trip. I'm gonna drag you all to the high seas to try to find Island again.
I'm gonna drag y'all to go find my dad.
I'm gonna fight a Rakshasa too.
Yeah. We have
Lux,
fucking...
where are you dragging us to? I'm kidding. I honestly
feel like it's the closest. I think in order, the next 3 arcs of the campaign, in order, starting immediately after Canna gets his tongue back, travel to the Feywild for the court thing, travel to the ocean to find Island, and then check up on
and then go. Yeah.
our family because they're on the run.
Yeah, see, reason. That is, I want to just see our parents again. I just want to like physically be like, you guys doing okay? All right, we're gonna go back on an adventure. Like,
well, because they were on the run because of you.
Yes.
Because and now that you're not being targeted anymore.
See, like, that's confusing. I don't fully know.
That was never said. He just had a separation.
Yeah.
There's a fully pissed off Rakshasa.
Yes. There's still a very mad man.
Yeah.
So I think I'm right there with Dippy that Feywild is probably next. And then we'll go to the ocean. And then I firmly don't see us fighting the Rakshasa, whatever the fuck. I wouldn't be surprised if like somewhere within the next like those two kind of like arcs that we want to hit, Dono is randomly like, Shovel needs you to save them right now. Or like something like that. Like I would not be surprised. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Avery's gotta find their mom too. Sorry, I just remembered that. They're actively looking for their mom.
Yeah. The note Canna got makes me believe that Shovel and Island are in the same type of place.
Yes.
So it's like,
What's it like having parents?
Oh my
God.
There's that wit again.
All right. Before we close out, I will say, and I will say this as like somebody who DMs a lot of like, I never know what my players want, so maybe we're doing a favor to Dono, maybe we're just bugging Dono. Dream magic items for your character.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Canna would love a robe of the Archmagi, obviously. I mean, that's like end game type shit. But oh man. I don't know. I would have to look.
So I'm a really
like,
a book of, you got a book of catalog. You're getting a book of catalog.
I'm about to get one. Yeah. But that was like the one. So what was it? Kobold Press put out Vault of Magic. And in Vault of Magic, they have a lot of really cool items, a lot of really cool potions, armor, weapons, and whatnot. But the wondrous items are where they got me, because there were 2 that I immediately latched onto and wanted to get in this campaign. Luckily, I'm getting one of them sooner rather than later. And and the other one is I actually have the image still saved, I think, of like this is the thing that I want us to end up with. Let's see. Oh god, there it is. The Brotherhood of Fezzes. So there are 3. So it's a set of 3 fezzes that only work if they are all worn within 60 feet of each other. And basically, if 3 creatures of the same size wear these fezzes within 60 feet of each other, each creature can use its action to cast the spell Alter Self at will. All 3 wearers of the fezzes are affected as if the same spell was simultaneously cast on each of them. So, if we get these 3 fezzes and 3 of the 4 or 5 of us, however many there are, wear them, and one of us casts Alter Self, all 3 of us look like the same person.
So it's
I want
la-di-da.
that.
Yeah, like La-di and Da, yeah. Like, but Canna's amusement with his knowledge of that item is just, I would have like a double-faced mirror if I got these fezzes.
There you go.
I don't know. It's just one of those things.
I do think ANIPOD could be going on for 50 years, and I'll probably still say this. Merc's axe, I think, would be really funny if every campaign I got my hands on. I would love to have Merc's axe back as 12, who probably would be bad at holding it, just even for a little bit. Like, just imbue the tiniest bit of magic to it, like make it returning or something, and then put it back. In every campaign we run, I'm just fucking with this axe a little bit more.
Just make it be
so
the
that'd
most
be a
OP
dream of mine.
item that Merc never uses again.
Oh yeah, no, Merc does not touch it. Besides that, like, I don't know. When we first started the campaign, I pitched a magic item to Dono that he said was too powerful for me to start with at level 1, which was just a book that held an infinite amount of other books. And I still love that. It literally, the whole idea was, it was like
So
a
Kindle.
cover. Yes. It was a cover of a book that you unsealed over another book, and then made that book disappear. And then at any time, any book in it, you could just summon it, and like the leather binding became that book. Because actually,
cool.
That's
another
just
trait
a
of
book of cataloging with books.
yes,
That's-
another
It's a
trait
Kindle.
of 12 that got thrown to the wayside was, like, I even have in my character sheet, loves libraries. That's why in the first couple episodes I robbed a couple libraries. And that kind of just went away. But
At the very beginning of the campaign, the mutual trait that all of us had, we all like books.
it
Yep.
was. We all
Yeah.
loved books.
And the only one that still consistently likes books as a character trait is Lux.
Lux.
That's literally just
Yeah.
because that's her character.
I did.
Yeah.
12
Literally a librarian. I mean, 12 still has books, yeah. Like, and I
12
have
has-
I've mentioned my bookshelf that I keep
Yeah.
in my room. You know, I've mentioned it before. I mentioned that I was
You guys
reading a
have used
random
it.
issue off of it. You know.
Yeah, I
guys
took a
used
book
it.
from you.
Yeah.
12 has this weird love of, like, smut now. It was like, that was 12's interest. Nobody talks about that. That Lux handed him a book, and that's how 12 learned about sex.
Yeah.
Like,
You guys learning
See-
that your
yeah. See,
mom
that's-
wrote
that's where-
a smut
that's where
book
I get
about
confused.
your dad.
Because
Yes.
if 12 is already into like vices like drugs and things like that, how did he not?
it's
How
it's
is that
sincerely-
not on his
that-
list of vices?
the-
You know.
best way I can describe it is like, all right, when a bunch of straight guys hang out, they're not gonna spontaneously start fucking each other.
I mean,
No matter
But
how
they
many
could.
times. the
No matter
Twilight
how many.
fucking realm was.
I've been in a room of straight men, and I've seen the spontaneousness of cocaine and alcohol and marijuana. I've never seen a straight dude be like, "Hey, by the way, put it in my butt. Like,
Okay, that's very fair.
so
You
like
know what?
that's
That is
like
incredibly
being
fair.
around military people in my brain was like none of them do that. They probably did, and he was oblivious and has no riz, is what my middle schoolers would say, and they are rotting my brain.
Zero riz.
Yeah, zero riz. That's what it boils down to.
I love that Lux has the ability to like literally just connect your guys' minds together. Never happens. I guess it's just
They have before.
have you? Yeah.
No, the only one who actively uses their ability to telepathically speak to somebody is Avery.
Yeah.
And that's situational, literally only to 12.
Which, yes.
Lux, what is your like? So you were the only one that didn't say what their dream item would be.
I have no idea. Now I'm thinking, now I want this book.
I
There's
also
that-
wanted this book.
It's like the perfect thing for the librarian. Be like, here, read this. No, thank you. Yes.
Oh, recurring NPCs that I brought back. Freaking, we've got.
I actually
Mineral?
didn't get to answer the question about the magic.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, you didn't do the magic item.
Oh, I thought you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I really don't have like a wish list magic item. Mainly because Avery's stats are so good that I'm like I don't really need, other than like maybe some, just continually. I like the idea of evolving magic items.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yes.
would really like for the Moonstone Greatsword to just
Mm-hmm.
keep evolving with Avery.
You mean
Obviously,
how it
that's
becomes
gonna-
sentient?
Yeah, that's fun. That's not gonna bite me in the ass later, obviously. But yeah, that's
The
I
moment
like
you
that.
told me that it was made by the like blood and body of
Yeah.
like your old friend, I'm just like, oh, that's gonna bite you in the ass.
Yeah. Well, and I like having D&D characters that have a signature item, right?
Yes.
So I always think that's super cool, is to have a signature item that
Flask of
is
never-ending
always
water.
consistent. So like for a bard that I play in my local campaign, she has this magical mandolin that was crafted by her father, and it just gets better and better and better. It just kind of like evolves over time, and in other games it was a vestige that evolved forward, or just one that was like stupid. Like I love the fact that Astra's cloak of protection is just the bomber jacket that she's got, and these 20 detectives. that I think that's just really kind of cool.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right.
So I would like that to be like the Moonstone Greatsword to be like Avery's like signature weapon that just get better over time.
Real quick, what is
I,
everyone? Oh,
I would almost want just an upgrade to Canna's flask. Canna's
the water flask.
yeah,
Decanter of water.
the decanter of the decanter of endless water. I would want that decanter to be a decanter that can do not just water. Like, that would be awesome.
Like upgrade it, like go get it alchemically changed to being like, oh, it can now spew out fire or acid, or like
Yeah,
you can,
turn it.
like you can
yeah,
switch
turn
the
it
knob,
into
you can turn the knob and it changes into
Yeah.
it changes the element.
Yeah, is
You
that
know
something-
what I want to see? Sorry, random thought. Just because I think it would be funny, especially with how tiny Lux's basically keeps their general form. I would love to see Lux find Jabberwock.
Jabberwock.
I have to look up what that is. I'm not sure what
So
that is.
Jabberwock is from the Witchlight.
Wow, really?
Yeah, the Witchlight
I mean,
book.
Skyrim has a version of the Jabberwock too.
But yeah, no, this one. No, I'm sorry, not Jabberwock. It's Snickersnack. That's what it's called. It's called Snickersnack.
Oh,
Ooh.
I think of it as Jabberwock, but no, it's Snickersnack. It's the great sword that as soon as you attune to it, you gain proficiency in great swords, but you use your charisma modifier as your attack. So I would love to see Lux just like we lose her at some point, and then we're like frantically looking for her. And instead, she's getting into a debate with this sentient sword that's a snarky little shit. She wins, and she comes walking out with a great sword that is 2 times her fucking size. And she's ready to just kick ass and take names.
It's just another Volpal sword. It literally says this, this +3 bonus attack damage rolls made with this magical Vorpal sword. In addition, weaponing noise resistance.
It's a Vorpal sword with an attitude.
Yeah.
It's a verb. Yeah, that you use your charisma modifier.
Listen,
with,
I would love that.
I'm kind of at my peak when it comes to like things with voices in this fucking.
That's also fair. That is fair.
But
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of NPCs.
Like I said, it's a personal. Just I think that would just be amusing.
Yeah.
Just personally, that would be hilarious. Because all of a sudden, Avery is the strongest person in the party, confused as fuck on why this little tiny sorceress is carrying this massive fucking sword.
Yeah.
So I just want
I
to.
can suddenly use it.
I've slowly been learning to fight.
That's true.
Yeah.
Avery has slowly been teaching you how to fight. Just the confusion.
I just want to point out that so Lux, when you did your session 0, there was a point in time where I don't know, like I don't think you ever picked this up, but Armin wasn't always an origami little dragon. He ate a book of origami, and you never changed his form.
Huh.
So,
It's all good with me.
yeah, okay. I'm just like, you can like whatever.
He's a little tiny dragon.
I know it's like the
He's a
perfect
dragon.
thing too.
It's just me.
What? Okay, we should be wrapping up.
Yes, I am getting sleepy and I have work in the morning.
Yes, I have a thing. in
You
the
have a
morning
big
too.
day tomorrow, buddy.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
All right, then this is where we're gonna end today. I will see you all next week. But
Yes.
first of all, I want to say thank you to Tabletop Audio for